I didn't see you there. I'm Austin's Animals, collector of all things furry. And I know what you want, don't you? You want me to take you on a tour of my collection. All of my furry items, plush, and action figures. Well, no one ever comes in, and no one ever comes out. No, I'm just kidding you. Come on in, I'll show you around. If it's a toy, if it's a cartoon, if it's furry, I have it. I love cartoons and action figures and figurines of anthropomorphic characters, from Zootopia to chipmunks, to rescue rangers to Ewoks. I've got it all. My room is a tribute and archive of the furry subculture community. We'll start at the top with none other than Shrek, the big green ogre himself. I consider myself an open figure collecting, but I couldn't bring myself to open these Shrek figures because the packaging design is just so charming. I like this piece of art because it shows the many different types of furry. Closets are where you typically find clothes, and while I have some, I've dedicated my closet to a miniature replica of the world of Zootopia. My vibrant Zootopia collection is inhabited by calico critters, Sylvanian families, and all kinds of retro, flocked animal action figures. In Zootopia, anyone can be anything, and I tried to have Zootopia's diversity in animal species in my town. There's a little bit of everything here. Every day in Zootopia is a party. Well, except maybe for that beaver who had one too many popsicles. I've displayed Zootopia's all-star cast around the police station playset, which makes for a wonderful display piece to any furry Anthro or Zootopia collection. The Zootopia action figures are fun to collect. My only gripe is that I wish they had made more of them. Judy's police cruiser is the most difficult toy to find in the Zootopia lineup, and by far my favorite. I had to give it its own shelf spot. There's no rhyme or reason behind these critters. I just tried to have some fun and variety to hang on the wall. These packaged critters are great. This was an amazing flea market find. I love that 80s packaging. If there's one collectible I like and wish I had more space for, it's animation cells. I enjoy collecting cells and production pieces from cartoons. This one here is by far my favorite. It's a character model sheet for Rotor from the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. I also have some Sonic storyboards, these ones from Sonic Underground. I have a bunch of these, but I was only able to frame one. This was my favorite because it's a nice action scene, plus it's kind of hilarious to see Maniac in a dress. This cell is of Latora from the Ewoks cartoon. This cell is from an obscure show called The Lionhearts, and is supposed to depict the MGM lion. Here I keep my briefcases for transporting my fursuit to different conventions and events. My collection of Croc shoes. I have no shame. Crocs are the best shoes ever. They are comfy and amazing. And yes, even my underwear bin is furry. Everything is furry. Another one of my favorite animation cells. It's Jan from Daniel, Mouse, and the Devil, an awesome Halloween cartoon special. Lots of fun tchotchkes on this shelf. A little bit of plush dolls, toys, and everything. Some of my fantasy and Ren Fair bags, and more Shrek figures. The sign holds true, the best things in life are furry. This is where I keep my full fursuit. I own 2 fursuits, the Arctic Fox suit, which is my own for my own character, as well as the vintage Fox fursuit, which I did a video on. This is all the extra fluff to my suit, including the leg padding that kind of gives the suit its shapely form. Here are more animation cells. I just don't have enough wall space, as well as my cartoon DVD collection. The world was not ready for Pinky Cooper and the Jet Set pets, so I froze these dolls until their time comes. Stay tuned for a future video on Pinky Cooper. There are cartoon action figures all over my room. We're now entering the workstation where I record a lot of the episodes. This is where the magic happens, folks. Special thanks to my assistant Bumble for holding my phone charger. Down here, it's comic book heaven. These are my long boxes of furry comics. The Archie Sonic comics are such classics. I have a whole bunch of them. And here we have some spicier comics of the more adult variety. Yeah, there's some spicy art in here, but it's great stuff. Guinness was one of the earliest running furry comics, and each issue featured a plethora of artists, many of which would become essential to the furry community. No furry collection is complete without the special extra-large lesbian unicorn issue. Gotta have that one. Well, since we've already seen that, let's go on to some of the raunchier statues here. These statues are really fun. The first one is this fox lady, who kinda looks like a Vegas showgirl. I actually don't know who that character is. And the two bunnies are actually from Playboy magazine. I actually have a second statue of that fox lady, this time on a phone in some sort of picnic. Again, I don't know who this is, so if you know anything, let me know. And finally, some collectible pins and trinkets from furry conventions. I absolutely adore the Rankin Bass stop-motion holiday specials, so I'm so happy to dedicate a shelf to these fantastic figures from the early 2000s. They really are some of my favorite action figures ever made. These bottom two shelves are kinda out of eye's view, so they are kinda my extra shelves where I shove everything else. We've got some PVCs and some trinkets, a cool plastic Holiday Inn sign, as well as the only figure they made of the long-forgotten Good Times Entertainment Rudolph movie. Bonus points if you grew up in the late 90s and remember that one. And finally, it looks like Mayor Lionheart from Zootopia is really enjoying himself at that Alpine Inn. Behold another obscure figure from the Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer movie. Now we're moving away from the kind of random assortment of cartoons into my Ewok collection. I love the little furry creatures from Star Wars, and I have a large collection of plush Ewoks. A plush Wicket was actually the first toy I can remember owning, back when I was just 1 year old. I've created my own forest moon of Endor with its own lively Ewok village. They've made lots of Ewok action figures over the years, and because I'm a weirdo, I know every one. For example, here we have Tebow and Latara on a date together, from the Ewoks cartoon. Every kingdom needs its ruler, and the ruler of this Ewok village is Queen Nisa, who was a princess in the Ewoks cartoon. Here's a production cell from the Ewoks cartoon. This one has a full background. Perhaps one of the most valuable items I own is a carded Ramba with his coin from the Power of the Force collection. He was the last Ewok released in the original Kennel line, and is also the best. Let's be honest, Ramba is a based Ewok. Just look at that little happy grin. He's great. Hey look, it's the artwork from the opening, as well as this really cool Shorewood Forest sign from Robin Hood. I actually found that at Box Lunch for $10, couldn't believe it. We have more calico critters here. These ones were kind of the more fantasy-inspired ones, and kind of Bavarian dresses and fashion. I just thought they looked neat here. Here I keep all of my roleplay games and books, most of which are, surprise, furry themed. And hey, here's Shadow of the Father, which I did a review on. If you haven't watched that review, you should. It's a great video and a good book. The Ewoks graphic novel is criminally underrated. Not only is it just a great Star Wars comic book, but it was drawn by furry artists. Now we're moving into some of my favorite items, the fantasy stuff. Check out the werewolf bust statue, as well as my potion bottles, which can clip onto my fursuit. This Egyptian dagger is the real deal, and it has a pointed, crooked blade. This statue of Sally Acorn from the Sonic TV show is awesome. It was 3D printed by a fan of the show. Here are some of my collectible furry books, including a first edition of The Secret of Nim. More cartoon figures here, including some of my Disney Robin Hood figures. Here are some of my larger furry and fantasy figures. We'll start with this multi-headed dragon, which is actually an incense burner that breathes smoke. These detailed, larger-than-life furry figures are from a line called the Realm of the Claw. Okay, here's a figure I've never talked about before. This one-of-a-kind werewolf prisoner figure that is, well, how to put it, pretty bondagey and fetishy. Now, this is a one-of-a-kind statue that I rescued secondhand from a flea market. And yes, his, dingle was chopped off when I found him, so he does not have his private part. It was snipped off. I'm not even attracted to dudes, and I'm getting a little steamy. Maybe it's just that compromising position he's in. Next figure. This witch doctor cat guy is another Realm of the Claw figure. But it's what's behind him that is amazing. One of my favorite pieces in my collection you're about to see. And that is this cool goblet with 2 dragons on each side and a pentagram in the middle. I don't know what it is, but it's gotta be the greatest flea market find ever. Here on the top shelf, we have the Castle playset, which is really home to all of the furry fantasy figures. We've got Lola Bunny as a knight, cool tiger warriors. We've even got my own Fursona as a custom action figure I made. I know this is a lot of action figures to handle in a short amount of time, so if you want to know who any of these figures are, please send me a comment below and I will absolutely let you know. Can you tell that Shrek was a big part of my childhood yet? Oh, and Puss in Boots. He is just awesome. Plush toys are super fun collectible because they're easy to display and they can't break, and you can kind of just pile them on each other. Lots more cartoon characters, from Judy Hopps to Star Fox to Space Jam to Robin Hood. Again, a little bit of everything. I really like this new plush of Coco Bandicoot. I think they just did the character absolute justice, even better than some of the action figures. More Holiday and Rankin Bass characters, because why not? These characters just make me smile. No, I don't really like Funko Pops, but if it's of a character I like, I still buy it anyway. If I had to sum up my aesthetic in two things, I guess Alvin and the Chipmunks and Dungeons and Dragons and Dice is good enough for me. These D&D roleplay animal figures are just so cool. I can't remember which tabletop game they're from, but it doesn't matter because I so use this fox as my D&D character. I just like how he has a little cup of coffee, just like me. This is actually my newest shelf. With all the fantasy, I felt like Sci-Fi needed to have its own small section, so I have the worlds of Bucky O'Hare and Star Fox, and a little bit of other stuff like Sonic and Tailspin. Here's a good tip if you're looking to display action figures. Imaginext playsets actually look great with collector action figures on them. Looks like poor Captain Amelia is being held prisoner, and it's up to these two space bounty hunters to save her. If you're wondering where I keep the second Fursuit, well, now you know. That about wraps up my room tour. Yes, it's fully head to toe. All sorts of great stuff. I don't mean to brag though, but most of these items I actually found secondhand at flea markets and thrift stores. I never like to pay full retail price for items. The treasure is out there, it's just waiting for you to find it. If you have any questions about anything in this room, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for watching, and remember to collect furry. Everybody, yeah, rock your body. Yeah, you're still here? Haven't you seen enough already? Time to go now. Bye, come again soon. Bye, goodbye. Oh, good riddance.